Hi, everyone. Today, our presentation focuses on cancel culture in media and whether it functions as more as accountability or overreaction. We're going to be looking at how cancel culture operates through media framing, audience interpretation, and real-world case studies involving celebrities, influencers, and brands. I'm Heidi Jeronimo.
And I'm Marina Lieu. So, in our table of contents, we will be talking about cancel culture, what it is, media framing, also what it is, our case studies with J.K. Rowling, Miss Rachel, and Balenciaga, and accountability and how it impacts, and we'll tie it in with our final argument and key takeaways. So, what is cancel culture? Cancel culture is a collective online response where audiences can call each other out, or maybe even criticize, or even boycott a public figure or organizations. Here's a few examples that we have from Jimmy Fallon, or Elon Musk, or even Daniel Preda. This is a bunch of examples that we have here that represents cancel culture. And why it matters is because cancel culture influences reputation, and all these public figures thrive on these high image, which portrays their career survival. It's a major force in today's media, and it's a driven society.
Perfect. So, media framing and audience interpretation. Media framing plays a huge role in cancel culture and the way that it's presented through headlines, captions, tone, and even visuals. We see how it influences audiences to understand a sort of controversy that's occurring, and the same situation can be framed as harmful behavior or as an overreaction. I would say that audience interpretation is also key here because people interpret messages differently depending on their values, identity, and expectations. A good example of this is influencer Matilda Djerf, who built her clothing brand around inclusivity and authenticity. So when accusations kind of surfaced saying that her company didn't reflect those values internally among the employees, the reactions were very intense, and some audiences viewed this backlash as necessary accountability, while others saw it as unfair and exaggerated. So I would say that this shows how framing and expectations can quickly turn a situation into a cancel culture moment.
So, three case studies that had cancel culture examples is one was J.K. Rowling. She had a big backlash when she tweeted how people who menstruate specifically, instead of using the word woman, this interpreted many as trans exclusionary. This really canceled her out in society's eyes, and this was an example of identity-based conflict or framing shaping outrage. Another was Miss Rachel. She posted a Pride Month message supporting inclusivity. Some parents thought and claimed LGBTQ messaging was for the children. However, others defended her for promoting acceptance. This was highlighting how values and audience expectations shape reactions. Last one was Balenciaga and Kim Kardashian. So a huge company like Balenciaga had a ad campaign which featured children with teddy bears that were styled in BDSM-like accessories. And of course, Kim Kardashian had to and was pressured to denounce the campaign from her public image, so that they were not associated with each other. But this was a brand controversy that extended to influencers that connected to the brand.
And that leads us to accountability versus overreaction. Why people see it as accountability. So, cancel culture is often debated as either accountability or overreaction. And on one hand, it allows the audience to hold powerful figures and brands responsible for harmful behavior, and it also promotes awareness of social issues. But on the other hand, it can quickly turn into an overreaction where context can be lost and situations tend to escalate, and it gives little room for explanation and for growth. And whether a situation is seen as accountability or overreaction really just depends on how the audience's values align with the individual or the brand involved.
And how it impacts on brands, organizations, and society. Cancel culture affects lots of brands. It can lose partnerships, your revenue, or even sponsorships. Um, People must adjust PR strategies and future marketings based off of this. How it affects society is that it encourages the public conversations about identity, ethics, and representation. And this kind of creates a fake culture in the audience's eyes because everyone has to be perfect online, scared to be canceled. And media framing really ties into this, especially since it's a huge course concept and how each and every story is tied to each other. And our main argument for cancel culture is that it's not simply about canceling, but it also reflects deeper tensions in media, identity, and social values. It reveals how audience interprets messages through their beliefs and how they see it, how media framing can also escalate a controversy in a public crisis.
As for key takeaways, we see how cancel culture shows us that in today's media environment, public figures and brands are constantly being evaluated, not just on what they do, but how their actions align with audience expectations. And it kind of shows how society is redefining what accountability looks like. And then these are sources used to support our presentation, including our own research on media framing from what we learned in lecture, as well as the case studies we looked up online to include as examples. And that concludes our presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.